Hi, my name's Jessica. Welcome back to your Fit in 15. Today as your yoga segment, we'll be focusing on releasing tight hips. And there's this yogic tradition that says that we carry a lot of negative emotions in our hips. So emotions such as anger, fear, sadness, anxiety, whatever it is. When you first start practicing yoga, you may notice a little bit more of that release of emotions after your practice. Some days you might feel angry, some days you might feel happy, and you might not be able to explain why you feel that way. Well, it's because our hip joint is the biggest joint in our body, and there's so many muscles that run through our hip joints. It's what connects our lower body to our upper body, so there's a lot going on there, right? So today we're gonna do a few poses to just help open up tight hips, to help undo any sitting or any other stagnant things that we do throughout our day. So you may need 2 blocks. You may not need them at all, we'll see. I'm gonna start with 1 block. I'm gonna set the other one out to the side, and I'm just gonna come to both feet. Feet are maybe about mat width apart. You're gonna bend your knees really deep and sit on a block if you need to for Malasana Yogi Squat. Bring your palms to your heart center. Your elbows are sort of prying your knees apart, but make sure that you stay grounded through your big toe mounds, right? Now this might be a nice big hip opener for you. If you wanna go a little bit deeper, you're gonna pick your butt up, remove the block, and just come back down. So we're gonna sink into this pose. Now make sure that your heels are also grounded. So sometimes if yogis are really tight and they start to come into this pose and their heels are lifted up, right? Because they're trying to sink down. It's not about that. You want your heels down, so even if you're not using the block, you can lift your butt a little higher, right? And sit right here more of like a chair pose. It will work your quadriceps a little bit more, so it is more intense, but your knees might need more time to open up before you can truly experience the benefits of this pose. So again, use blocks, sit up higher, no big deal to get to the lowest position, right? Now, wherever you are, just breathe. Close your eyes. Allow the crown of your head to grow a little bit taller. And allow your hips to sink down a little bit deeper. And slowly open up your eyes. Bring your hands down to the floor. Remove your block if you have one underneath you. Pick up your left foot and take a big step back. Now you may need 2 blocks here to keep your hands down on the floor. And you're gonna release to your back knee. Now, ideally you have both hands inside of your leg. So you've got your right knee hugging in. And if you wanna go a little bit further, you might come down to your elbows. And maybe crawl your right foot forward an inch or 2. And you'll start to feel a little bit more of a stretch in the outer right hip, as well as the front of the left hip, right? So this is also a good hip flexor stretch, right? Getting into the psoas. And if you don't need the blocks, if you have more flexibility, you can bring your elbows all the way down to the floor and breathe. Try to keep your spine long. One more breath. And to release, bring your palms back. Curl your back toes under, lift your back knee. Lean forward, take a big step forward back towards that Malasana. And then pick up your right foot, take a big step back. Now again, maybe you need your blocks here, which is totally fine. And ideally both hands are inside of that left foot, so if you can maneuver that left arm in, we're gonna release to the back knee. And then you decide how far you can take it. If you wanna bring your blocks down and bring your elbows down to the blocks, you can. You could walk your left foot a little bit more forward. Keep your big toe mound grounded, keep your heel grounded, and keep this knee hugging in towards your side body. And maybe you don't need the blocks at all, you can set them out to the side. And bring your elbows all the way down to the floor. And breathe. Feeling that stretch in your outer left hip and the front of the right hip. Can you elongate your spine just a little bit more as you gaze forward? And release. Come back up onto your palms. palms. We're gonna step it back into downward facing dog. So take your left foot all the way back. And just take an inhale breath here, shift your hips back. Exhale, release, sink your heels down into the floor. And as you inhale, reach your right leg to the sky. As you exhale, bring your knee all the way in towards your chest and set your foot down. Now for some of us, it might look more like this. And that's fine too. Now once you get the release to your back knee, inhale, sweep your arms up. This is called Salamba Ujjayi or crescent moon pose. It's a hip flexor stretch and a little bit of a back bend. So you should feel it in the front of your left hip. Bring your palms to your heart center, and we're gonna twist. Take your left elbow and just hook it outside of your right knee. Now palms can be together. You can make fists if you have any wrist issues, right? Or you can do some kind of hug if it's not quite comfortable to keep your palms together. That's all right too. Gaze up towards the sky. Keep your hips even. Try not to pull your right hip way back. You wanna keep your hips even. And this twisting action is not just good for our spine, but it's also good for our IT band that runs down the outer part of the leg. Go ahead and release. Bring your hands to the floor. Curl your back toes under, pick up your back knee. Now can you pick up your right foot and step it back to downward facing dog? Let's do the other side. Inhale, reach your left leg up to the sky. Exhale, bring your knee to your nose. Step your foot in between your hands, release to your back knee. Inhale, sweep your arms up for crescent moon pose. And exhale, sink your hips down. Again, we're looking for that stretch right along here. Breathe. Really reach your fingertips up towards the sky. Bring your palms to your heart center. Begin to twist. Take your right elbow outside of your left knee. And any variation goes. If you want to bring your fists together or give yourself a hug, you can do that as well. Keep your hips nice and even. Don't let them sort of pull to one side or the other. And gaze up past your left shoulder. One more full round of breath. And release. Send your hands down to the floor. Curl your back toes under, pick up your back knee, and again, step your left foot back for downward facing dog. Now inhale, bring your right leg to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose, so you can set your right shin bone down. And extend your left leg back. Now we're gonna come into half pigeon. I'll show you two variations, right? So first variation, this is what we call half pigeon. And if you feel a little tight, a little stuck here in your hips, you can take one of your blocks and place it underneath your right hip to give yourself just a little bit more height. Now you wanna make sure that your back leg is extending straight out of your hip. It's not angling out to one side or the other. And maybe you stay right here. Maybe this is enough. Or maybe you start to fold it forward. Now, if you're in this position, stay here. If you don't need the block, no worries, just set it out to the side. And breathe. You can bring your chest all the way down. You can rest your head down, but here's an option. If you have an ankle or a knee injury, and if that's not working for you, roll down onto your back. And you're gonna cross your right ankle over your left knee. And pull your hands through, keep your shoulders down. You're gonna catch a hold of your left thigh or shin bone and pull your left knee into your chest. And that's gonna create some intensity. You're gonna feel it in this outer hip. Keep your knee moving away from you and keep flexing your foot to protect the knee and the ankle joint. And breathe. All right, no matter which version you're in, slowly make your way out, and we'll meet back in downward facing dog. And we'll get the other side. So lift your left leg up to the sky and bring it forward for half pigeon. Right leg extends back. So same thing, you can use your block here underneath your hip, or no block if you don't need it. And come all the way down, maybe to your elbows. Maybe even bring your chest all the way to the floor. Or roll around and do this on your back. So the left ankle bends on top of the right knee. You're gonna interlace your fingers either around the thigh or the shin bone and pull that knee into your chest. Move your left knee forward and away from you and flex your left foot and breathe. All right, no matter which variation you're in, slowly come out and come on up to seated. All right, now maybe you've noticed some emotions pop up for you today, but it might take you a couple more times before you see that and really truly feel that release. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste, yogis.